All right, we're getting on real quick because they're unveiling the number 2, which is the Ducks, which means Chicago just won Connor Bedard.
Who called it?
Which is the biggest load of horse dookie we've ever seen in our lives. And I apologize, we're late. It's my fault. We come into this. This is the worst thing that could have possibly happened. Chicago winning what
Philly.
Have, well, Philly, yeah. Thing. But Chicago, an outright disaster of an organization, from ownership, Rocky Wirtz, who's the biggest POS in the world, owner out there, to what happened with Quenneville and Chris Beach and that horrible situation. They should not be rewarded ever, and instead he's going to go to an organization where they went from Jonathan Taves to now Connor Bedard, which is the biggest little horse trash that the NHL could have done. Gary Bettman is such a fraud. So, well, that was a great way to start the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen,
stinks.
Yeah, hello all. Welcome to Hockey Tap Podcast, episode 133. Kraken, Panthers, and Bedard. Oh my! Now it's Chicago Blackhawks, Panthers, and Bedard. Oh my! I'm your host, Bill Dean. Of course, here with my two co-hosts, Schwim and Shorts Guy. Brought to you by Primetime Radio, courtesy of Sam Wu. I'm behind the glass today. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Please use a 5-star review if you'd be so kind. Gentlemen, I mean, no beer is going to make this feel good, but I am drinking Kentucky Sunrise. It's a apple cider with pears and tart cherries. It's called Pivot. I'm into ciders right now. So, but what are you guys drinking?
It's from our more recent trips to Pennings is what got you into those ciders.
Yes. Yeah. I actually had two really good ones from Tomasello. It's like a winery in Jersey, but they also do ciders as well. One was a peach ginger, and then which was really good. And the other was a strawberry mango, also very good. Highly recommend it. I'll get some bottles and we'll partake.
Awesome.
Please.
Schwim, you're up.
Okay? Yeah. I'm drinking a good old newbie, citrus, squall, dogfish. I didn't realize this was 8%. I thought it was lower. Like I was like, damn, okay, I'm cool with that. Ale with grapefruit juice, agave nectar, and what else is in there? I don't even know. But this is like, I don't know. I don't know if I like this better now than what do you call it? Sequench. I think this is this might be up there with Sequench.
Citrus Skull's good. Yeah,
I love Sequench, and I think this is giving it a run for its money. Delicious.
The only thing with that over the Sequench is you can't have too many of the squalls in the Sequenches.
I mean, you could.
Sequench,
you want to have a good time.
Those so easy. Sequench might be the easiest beer to drink.
It's so friggin' delicious.
It's a great beer for the beach.
The taste of this one is phenomenal. This is really good.
I would agree. I am going with another glass of 1883 because I just called and inquired about a new keg today, so I got to start drinking it. I'm actually going to read the description of 1883 from their website. It's Mudhen's flagship IPA. It has floral, citrus, and pine components, complemented by a notably dry finish, if I can read. And hold on, let me taste it. You know what it tastes like, Schwim?
Victory.
A victory. Jinx.
It tastes like a perfect game.
Shorts guy had one of those last week.
I did. Dean, you missed it. I played against the guys last week. And I didn't tell anyone but Steven that I was going to be in net against them.
Nice.
And it was for Pecker's team, and I backstopped Pecker's team to a 3-0 shutout victory.
Oh, you screwed your buddies?
I did, making 32 saves along the way. And then afterwards...
You counted the saves?
I always count my saves.
He always does.
I always do. It keeps me focused. But then even better, after the game, I walked into their locker room and I just pulled that line from when Homer bowled the perfect game. I walked in and I just said, "Did anybody say a perfect game?" And I went to throw like a I went to throw an imaginary bowling ball. I had to do it.
I'm really happy I wasn't there.
Yeah, you probably would have slashed the hell out of my hand. You did.
I probably would have.
Schwim had a pretty decent opportunity in the first. Steven had a decent opportunity.
And he blew it like he normally does?
I just threw one in from the point. That's all.
but it was looping and blooping all the way in. I was like, oh, crap, this is the type that would go in.
Oh, it would. Those are always the types,
It
the
would.
bloopers.
I had an own goal.
You had an own goal?
Yeah, I was defending a guy in front. They threw it from the boards and it went right off my skate, far corner. And the guy celebrated like he scored.
Oh, he definitely did. He probably did Dean Wu.
He did everything, hands in the air, all of it. And I'm like, you didn't even. It blatantly blasted off my leg and went far corner.
I love it.
It was a good time, though. At least I had a good time. I don't know about the guys, but
yeah, well, yeah, for the most part, I guess we had a good time.
All right, so looking at Facebook Live, NHL strikes again. Chicago gets rolled with Bedard.
Yep,
absolutely.
Called it. I told you they were going to get him. Mm-hmm. They got to replenish that cupboard in Chicago. They weren't going to send him to a California team. They had to send him to a market.
It's a Chicago redemption story, is what they're probably going to play.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
That's the PR spin.
They're going to make everybody forget about all their wrong transgressions in the past, and everyone's going to focus on this kid.
Now, how funny would that be? The NHL does all this, and he refuses to go there.
I would love it.
I don't see that happening, but that'd be hilarious.
That would be hilarious.
I don't see that happen, though.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, I don't think anything.
He's the first overall generational talent. I don't think he's going to refuse to play.
Someone eventually will. Someone eventually will.
I guess, yeah. Never say never. I guess that could happen.
I mean, you have to have pretty strong morals to reject the opportunity to go number one, right?
Yeah, I guess.
It maybe not rejecting to go number one, but maybe just saying what was that? Eli Manning did that, didn't he?
Yeah, with
his dad did want him playing for San Diego or whoever it was.
San Diego.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely.
We talking about all here on the Hockey on Tap podcast. Football, beer, hockey. What else can we throw in there? Cats.
I mean, we could talk about a lot of things. Unfortunately, but we always talk cats, cats and dogs.
It's true.
Kids, and just
we got it all.
Being fans, fans of
we got it all here.
That make you unhappy.
This is true for me and Dean especially.
Yeah, might as well just get to the Band-Aid. The Rangers fired Gerard Gallant. Good luck, you shitty head coach. They break the streak. He was 3 years, 3 other destinations. He gave him only 2 this year. You son of a b! You can't squirrel a third one on us.
Nope.
I mean, he just would have been there for half a season next year anyway.
Listen, a lot of people out there, who's better than Gallant on the market. The point of it was the Rangers mid-season thought about getting rid of him, so he saw the writing on the wall. He in the playoffs in a series that you had to win, being up 2-0. You had to win that series because after what happened last year with Tampa going up 2-0 in the series and losing 4 straight, you had this series not in the bag because nothing's ever in the bag. You've seen it with Florida Panthers. We'll talk about it in a minute. Fantastic, but you had a significant lead where you had to win just 1 extra game and win 4 out of 7, and you just had to stop them from winning 4 of the next 5, and you didn't happen. Your team came out flat in 2 games. Your team came out where they didn't show up. If we had showed up for either one of those games, you guys would be home, and the Rangers would be playing in this series, probably beating Carolina because we're a better matchup against Carolina. But the issue is he didn't come to the arena with any sort of plans, any sort of changes, and he let the series slip away, and that's what happens. You're going to get fired, and good luck, Turk. I couldn't give one shit where you go, but I hope you're a shitty head coach there too. And I guess there's talks about Laviolette and maybe Knobloch, who's a ex-coach, or not ex-coach, but sorry, he's the Hartford Wolfpack coach.
Yeah.
Yep. They're talking about Ray Leach from Seattle, who I'd really like. I think Ray Leach is a very good coach.
Quinville.
So the Quinville thing, multiple people have shot this down. That I don't think the NHL is ready for him to come back. Same thing with Stan Bowman. I know he's been out there from possibly Calgary, but those 2 shitheads don't deserve a place in hockey. So I really hope that the NHL does not allow them back in.
We just saw the NHL award Bedard to Chicago.
Yeah, to
so
the
you never
shitty.
know.
Yeah.
All
Listen,
is forgiven.
and Chicago fans, I'm happy for you guys. You guys got a generational talent, but your organization does not deserve him at all. You're a shitty run organization. Your owner is the biggest piece of crap in the NHL. I can give all the negative talk about my owner, who I hate because he just meddles in things he shouldn't be. But at least he's not out there, talking about how the Chris Beach thing was, whatever he
basically
said.
Basically, not a big deal.
Yeah, not a big deal.
He made it not a big deal.
And his son, in that press conference they had, or that round table with all the fans, his son tried to come out and basically say, look, listen, we understand this was bad and we're trying to make things right. But no, Rocky had to step in and be a piece of shit. And I'm sorry for the curse words.
He didn't want to talk about it. Really, I remember that.
He didn't want to talk about it. Wanted all the guys to shut up about it. Listen, you're a loser. I hope you lose the team in some fashion. And just amazing. So yeah, Rangers get rid of Glant. We'll see who they get. But it's been a tough offseason already. We know the writing on the and we'll get into offseason stuff with the teams after the playoffs. But it's going to be a tough offseason for Rangers fans because you're going to have to lose somebody that you're not going to want to. And it's really the same thing with a couple other teams. And hopefully when the Devils get out, we can talk about Meyer and Brett. But
well. That's to be TBD. But I gotta say, I was talking to a friend of mine, my friend Hannah. So shout out to her. But we were talking about Gallant being fired. We've kind of been going back and forth in the Devil Rangers series, giving each other a little bit of shit. And I told her it's better to have him get fired now when you can properly find someone and then set your team up. Instead of having him be fired in December and kind of getting screwed like that, because that would I think screw you even more if they would have waited till December.
Yeah.
So pretty much getting rid of him now was probably your best bet for doing that. And to say that I'm not thrilled to see your franchise just making mistake after mistake would be a lie, but. It was a good, it was an exciting series. It was exciting to see Devil Ranger hockey the way it used to be this year again. So it was fun. And speaking of Ranger fans, I got to give a shout out to fan of the podcast, Matt Banky, because it is his birthday. So happy birthday to Matt.
Happy birthday, Matt. Quickly, so the teams without head coaches, because this does kind of matter, especially unfortunately, Chicago has a coach. He's back. Unfortunately, Chicago has a coach in Luke Richardson. So, there's no coach that's going to be able to go in and want that job right away. Because, if I'm a head coach and Chicago is the opening and you had the Rangers and you had all these other teams, I'd absolutely go to Chicago in a heartbeat. You have a surefire stud to play with. So there's that. But Anaheim Ducks have still vacancy, and it looks like they're going to get probably Adam Fantilli or Michkov or, there's a bunch of other guys that are nasty on the number one, obviously, is Bedard. But when you look at the rest of this class, it is loaded. There's about six.
Good,
there's about six guys that could go number one on any other year. It's that good. We'll have Drew Way, friend of the podcast, come on and kind of talk more prospects this offseason. But it's a good year for shitty teams. Calgary Flames also without a coach. Columbus
and a GM, right?
And a GM. Rangers and Washington Capitals. Those are all the teams without head coaches.
And the Devils technically have two right now.
So, we'll talk about that too, but I really think Burnett's gone unless you're choosing to get rid of Lindy Ruff.
I don't think so, man. I don't think so.
I think he can get a head coaching gig.
Oh, I guarantee he can get a head coaching gig. But also, I have a feeling that there's some kind of an agreement there to where he's going to get the Devils spot and Lindy Ruff is going to move to an advisory type of role at some point. Plus, you've got I'd be really shocked if it wasn't Burnett making a lot of these decisions with Lindy Ruff and not as Lindy Ruff's just pure assistant. So to me, it just makes sense to hang around because this team is on the up and up. How long can Lindy Ruff at his age continue to coach? And I guarantee he wants to win a cup because he has not yet done that. But I have this feeling that if they don't do it this year, you see Lindy go into an advisory role, maybe even after next season, and Burnett, gets that head coaching gig with a team that's pretty much ready-made, that already knows him, that already is buying in. I guarantee he's got his fingerprints all over this team right now. So that's probably why you see him go from, being willing to be an associate. And they never call him an assistant. It's always an associate coach.
Yeah.
So I just have this feeling it's just that's the writing on the wall in Devil's Land with that.
I don't think. Go ahead, Shrimp.
Sorry, just real quick. And also with Lindy, I was thinking if he goes out on a high note this season, say the Devils go all the way to the Stanley Cup, they win it. And Lindy's like, you know what? I won a Stanley Cup. I'm however many years old, and he moves into a different role with the team, and then boom, Burnett can take over next season. I guess I don't know if that's. I mean, that's definitely a possibility if he wants to, if he feels that way. But I think he still is going to want to coach no matter what. But I mean, I think that's just like another possible situation that could happen.
So. We said the 5 teams. I don't think that he would go to Washington or to Columbus, even though Columbus has the number 3 pick. But I could see maybe him. The Ducks have some good up and younger players coming up. We talked about Zegras. He's a phenomenal watch. But the other 2 teams, Calgary Flames are a win now team. I think that they're competitive and they could be in the playoffs. Same with the Rangers. I'm not saying that he goes to one of those teams, but he does have 2 teams that are decent options for a guy that would want to possibly win now.
Yeah, you're talking about going to one of those teams?
No, Vermette.
Burnett.
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 I'm gonna be honest. If he after that series were to go to the Rangers next season, he would be vilified to the max.
I don't know.
Vilified to the max, and I don't think he would do that.
Yeah, I mean, I
honestly think the Rangers are going to go in-house. I don't think they're going to just get one of these recycled coaches like Laviolette or Quenneville or. I think they might. I think they might get a whole new voice and whatever in there. So that's what I'm thinking. They might go with what's the guy's name? Knobloch from Hartford.
The only thing about with
or
Knobloch
that other guy, that other assistant coach who hasn't had a head coach job yet.
Yeah, Knobloch's had a really good run the last couple of years. He actually is in the final for the AHL, but his developmental players, they're a little, he's one more with older players, so there's a little bit of worry about that.
They just eliminated a Tampa's affiliate, I believe.
Yeah, yep.
I think they played Syracuse.
Finally beat Tampa in something.
Yeah.
2023 draft lottery results. So you have Chicago 1, Ducks 2, Columbus 3, Sharks 4, Canadians 5, Arizona. Poor Arizona. There's probably 5, maybe 6 ones here, and Arizona just misses. They're gonna get that last person where you're like, oh, okay.
You never know. So, somebody could slide.
You never know. Look at what happened last year.
Yeah.
Look what happened last year. What was it? Shane Wright was
went down the
projected
fourth, right?
to be number 1 and dropped like a stone.
Yeah.
So you never know, man. You never really know.
Stevens, Pittsburgh Penguins 14, JJ's Buffalo Sabres 13.
I was going to laugh my ass off if Buffalo won the. I mean, they wouldn't get number 1 overall. God. They would have been. They could have moved up to third overall, I believe. Yeah.
Because once you're past the top 10, you can only move up 10 spots.
Yeah,
so
top 11,
Vancouver was the only other team that could have moved up to 1. 12 could only go to 2. 13-3, 14-4, 15-5, 16-6.
See, Ray Leo's not thrilled with this.
No, it's horseshit.
Besides Chicago fans, no one is.
They're the only ones. There's no other team that people that could be happy about this.
I said it before. I said Chicago, they were going to get it. They were losing their generational talents. They all got old and they're either leaving on their own or got traded, and they got to bring in the new blood. And it's this friggin' phenom. I knew they were going to friggin' replenish the cupboard.
So
it really is.
So here's my question. Do you think that there's a Chicago Blackhawk version of Billy Dean that's running around shirtless right now?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Multiples, not just one, multiples.
Yeah. Oh, you think there was only me running around when the Rangers got it? No. There's multiple.
I don't know. We have that video.
Yeah,
that video exists.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, are you watching the Edmonton Vegas opening thing? Yeah. Some guys in the crowd singing that. There's 2 kids behind this guy wearing Montreal Canadian
Canadians t-shirts. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's
like those 2 fans that have been going to the Toronto games wearing Lightning
Toronto's
jerseys last round.
Yeah, they play any Yeah, exactly. They put on any jersey that's not the Leafs. Yeah,
that's great.
I don't like the Leafs either, so good for them.
And they're about to be bounced too.
I hope so. Let's get. I really hope so.
We'll go west first, and then we'll go east.
Yeah, let's do
Stars
west
versus Kraken. 2-1 in the series. Kraken up, which to me, I mean, I know Schwartz I picked Kraken.
So did I.
Mm-hmm.
I did not think that they would be the team that's up in the series. Dallas has had some issues. In the last game, Game 3, Heiskanen takes the puck off his face.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Eberle scores right away.
Yeah,
and it's just that kind of game.
I heard about that. I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
It was he got nailed.
Nasty. Yeah, he was out the rest of the game. They do think he's going to be back in Game 4 though. So let's go first. Game 1, 5-4, Seattle win in overtime. Ottingers came out and said right away that it would not happen
the game
again.
Winner? Who had the game winner?
That would be Mr. Yanni Gord.
Woo, former Tampa Bay Lightning legend, Yanni Gord.
Ottinger comes in Game 2, plays really well, 4-2 win for Dallas. And then Game 3 happens, and I don't think I've ever seen Ottinger play worse. He has had 2 awful games in the series. Schwartz guy, you think he's tired? I mean, a 7-2 loss. He's played a lot of hockey. Is this tired? Can you lose your focus that badly for 2 games?
Yeah, it can be. If your mind starts to wander, absolutely can you lose your focus. I mean, we've seen Vitek play some pretty poor games because of exhaustion, but I've been listening to some analysis about. Yeah, I mean, you can say Schmid was.
We'll talk about the Devils in a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, but some of the analysis on Jay Gottinger right now is that they're starting to figure him out to shoot high blocker. Seems to be one of his weak spots right now, and he's getting picked up high on the blocker side. Not for every goal, but pretty regularly at this point. And it seems to be they may have figured him out, and that's kind of the plus side and the downside, depending on how you want to look at it. When you play a single team for 4, 5, 6, 7 games, is you get really familiar, and you start picking out weaknesses, and it seems to be that's what they've that's what they've done. And I know we'll get to it, but it seemed like Schmid was figured out a little bit in games 1 and 2 of this series too. But we'll get to that later on.
So Seattle scores 5 times in the second. Eberle with the first goal off of Heiskanen's face, and then Wenberg, Susie, Beniers, and then Eli Tolvanen.
That Beniers goal, was that the horrible one that was like short side on?
So both
that was bad.
Beniers the Susie into the Beniers goal they were really bad. Ottinger just was
I remember seeing that. Yeah. I think he can bounce back though. They're good enough to bounce back. I think he can too.
Yeah.
Yes, he can bounce back.
The Susie goal. Did you guys see the Susie goal? So he scores 5-hole, and it wasn't a great shot. It was a really bad goal. But he then waves to Marchman as he goes by, and then he actually went through both benches, like both lines. So he went through Seattle's bench, like knocked all their gloves, and then went right past the Stars and was just talking to them the whole time. It was like he wanted high fives from them too. It was very funny.
All right. He's a good player. He's like a really I think underrated player. I liked him. I when they chose him or whatever, I'm like, I think that's a really good choice, because I think he could be like an up and coming player for that team. They have so many they don't have like a stud like superstars, but they just have guys that are just like really good and do their job very well.
Here's the stat. So McCann's going to come back in Game 4, most likely for the Kraken. That's what they're talking about. But 16 players have goals for the Kraken in this playoffs.
Yeah, they're the fifth Everyone's
to do that. They're the 5th team to do that ever. The 2022 Avs last year, 2020 Vegas, Columbus in 2019. That would be Schwimm's team. And then Detroit in 2011. Let's talk about them again. Yeah, talk about them again.
Let's do that.
But, I mean, the depth for the Kraken is legit. They know what they're doing. They have just about 8 defensemen that can come on and play. And, I mean, I'm going to admit I was wrong right now on Seattle, and Dallas could still win the series, but I really thought Dallas would kind of steamroll them because talent, I think, wins out, but they're playing such a good style, and it doesn't matter if you're going to muck it up or you're going to score with them. They'll play whatever.
They're a tenacious team. They're like Florida too. Florida's friggin' relentless, and both of these teams right now are having success, and they just got to keep, I think, playing the way they're playing. They can beat anybody, and they've done that. Florida's already beaten arguably one of the best teams we've ever seen in the Boston Bruins, and Seattle's beaten the former friggin' Cup champs from last year. Their recipe for or I guess for the playoffs this year has been yielding a lot of success for them. So I think they just got to stay the course. They can beat anybody. You might see these two teams in the finals. That would be nuts.
Yeah.
And I believe someone on this podcast called the Panthers in the finals.
You did.
Nice guy.
Yeah,
I only got one horse in the race still. I hope I'm wrong too. I hope you're right.
I hope I'm wrong because
you had them win the championship.
Devils. Yeah,
you had them winning I hope Stanley Cup. No.
Yeah, he had them beating Calgary for the championship.
Wow.
Yeah,
Calgary. Yeah.
That was terrible.
I mean, Schwim, you had Calgary winning, so.
Yeah, but I had Carolina in there. So I still have a horse in the race.
You have a horse, yeah.
You have a horse in the race. I just hope that I hope I'm wrong because it's the Devils in the Cup final winning the Cup at this point because we have.
You had Colorado going back to back, or what did you have?
I had Colorado going back to mine. Mine's looking really bad now. Hold on, I have Colorado and Toronto. I'm looking real bad.
Get out of here with that.
At least I had two guys in the playoffs. Calgary didn't even make the playoffs.
That's true. But,
but you were all giving. You're all giving me shit a couple weeks ago about the Panthers potentially winning the Cup.
That was actually not bad. Who's that? Fogle?
Tipping by Fogle. Yep.
Yeah.
Fourth line.
Isn't it crazy? I just saw some. Sorry, real quick. McDavid has 6 straight games of multi-points, I guess.
Yes.
In the playoffs right now, and he's like 2 behind. Gretzky, I think, is the record for 8 straight games.
Yeah.
That's freaking nuts.
We'll talk about Edmonton because Leon Draisaitl is a beast. But sure, go ahead on Seattle. Sorry, I know we cut you off on that one.
I don't know if it was Seattle, the Panthers, or both, but didn't both teams not really do much at the deadline too?
Yeah,
they just kind of went with their roster.
Mm-hmm. I actually think didn't Seattle Seattle was actually looking to trade Soucy because at the time they were playing Larson, Schultz, Alexiak, Dunn, and there was 2 other guys. But a couple guys got injured, and then he kind of came in the lineup. I think actually Seattle might have sold. They got like a 3rd round pick or something, or 4th round pick for somebody. But I don't think Florida did anything at the deadline.
I know Florida didn't. I don't know if I thought I heard Seattle also didn't do much, but either way, Seattle. I called them in the 1st round. I had them winning the 2nd round. And Dean, you still have to send me all your picks for the, or I could just listen to last week's show too.
No, it's on Twitter. So you can find Hockey on Tap and Let's Go Devils, all the picks from the 2nd round on my Twitter account or on Hockey on Tap Twitter account. I will send it out again. But
I want to see what their the point update is after the 2nd round to see if I jump anybody.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Or
I think a lot of people pick Toronto, and hopefully that's not the case.
I can tell you who picked Toronto in a second.
Yeah, definitely me.
Mm-hmm. All right, so there's all right. So I have your. Okay, I'm going to save this and update mine. Save photo, but
tie game.
Okay.
Oh wow.
So Toronto.
And who scored? Another former Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yep.
It was myself,
Mother Evers,
myself, Schwim, and Scotty that picked the Panthers.
Nice. Everyone else, Toronto.
Yep.
All right. Well, we got one more.
No,
let's do it.
No one picked the Panthers in 4, though. I have Panthers in 6. You have Panthers in 7.
7, yeah.
Yeah, 7, and then Scotty has Panthers in 7. And who picked Kraken? I picked
Me and
Kraken.
You, right? I did also.
And you did as well.
Yep.
And so did Beer Baron. Beer Baron's rolling the dice in the Kraken again. He's just letting it roll.
All right.
So. Kraken in 6, Kraken in 7, and Kraken in 6.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, may as well. Go with it strike while the iron's hot, baby.
I was trying to find quickly if I could see what the Kraken did at the trade deadline, but for some reason,
if anything,
I
don't remember them doing anything. If they did, it had to have been something minor.
I was trying to remember. There's a website that has they give you basically all the teams that go down, but anyways, I can't find it. All right, so obviously Seattle, very good. Oh, quickly, the Stars, they canceled their outdoor watch party after the Texas mass shooting.
Yep.
And you saw DeBoer come on, and he was visibly upset, and it's close to home. Allen is a couple miles from downtown Dallas. There's not much we could say. It's I know a lot of political stuff, but we gotta do something here, right? Like the stuff can't continue to happen. It's a shame and it's sad, and there's just so many flags out there that could have stopped things like this, and it's depressing. And when you have kids, and it just hits even more home when you see that kids, are just viciously taking the. You guys have all this. It's the same thing. It just.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I wish there was more that I could do. I try to take the steps to make sure my family and I'm out there, but it's just a shame.
Yeah, it is. It's you always just what it comes down to is that personally you always have to be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah.
Now more than ever, you have to be aware of your surroundings, and you kind of take stock in. Okay, well, God forbid something happens. What can I do? And I mean, I live in that world daily where we do drills for this shit, and it's it in a way it kind of desensitizes you a little bit to the reality of, I guess I'm part of a soft target. So hey, let's see what the hell goes on today. But it sucks. And our hearts go out to everyone, and there's got to be kind of a solution because it's becoming way too common. Now
it's sad that it's so common now, and that's a possibility that you can be. It's nuts that you can be desensitized to something like that. Isn't that like just crazy to think about?
Yeah,
but and I want to say that I'm desensitized to the happening. It's just I'm desensitized to the reality of when I go to work. It could be the day.
Yeah, you never know. It could be anywhere. You could be a friggin' park.
Yeah, and
that's one that just happened recently. People were at a park and that happened. It's nuts.
That's what I mean by I'm kind of personally desensitized. I'm kind of I work every single day of life, and if I worried every day, on one hand, I would want to go to work, but at the same time, it's kind of.
All right, well let's get to something positive. Right now, we're watching currently we're watching game 3 in the first. Vegas and Edmonton are tied 1-1. And we'll start with this series, or we'll continue with this series. They're tied 1-1. Draisaitl with 2 more goals in game 2, 13 total in 8 games to tie the series even. So the record for a series is Jari Kurri with 12. So he's halfway there, and he's only played 2 games. So he could hit that. The record for a playoffs total is 19 goals. Reggie Leach had that in 16 games with Philly. Jari Kurri had it in 19 games with the Oilers. Draisaitl is at 13. He's getting 6 more goals, and he's that close. This guy's otherworldly, and everybody makes kind of the big hoopla about his stick, and it basically is a canoe paddle. The blade on his stick is so big. I think it's the biggest they said in the league, and he has like 0 curve to it, or very minimal curve. It's just it's amazing what this guy can do, and he's doing all kinds of things. Low shots, high shots, banking it off goaltenders, dekes. Yeah, he almost scored right there. McDavid's the best player in the league, but to say anyone that wants to come out and say that Draisaitl is not a byproduct of McDavid, but that he's absolutely
not at all.
Held by
he's
him.
His own.
No,
Joe Ding Dong. He's his own.
He could go
entity.
He could go to another team and be just as good. It's almost the Malkin Crosby effect. Like, I know Malkin was in this behind the scenes, for a lot of the stuff, and he didn't really show until Crosby was kind of hurt. But Malkin, if he was on another team, he would have been a bona fide number 1 franchise leader. And it's the same thing here. Draisaitl, and I'm sure Draisaitl likes it that McDavid gets all the attention and he can just rip it up.
You can just go out there and play. He doesn't have to worry about really anything.
It takes the heat off you. Especially in a place like Edmonton, where you're probably just thrown to the wolves every single game. Like, McDavid gets all of the shine, and Draisaitl, and that's probably why you see Draisaitl doing so well, because the shine's on McDavid to win. I'm sure in the local markets you're hearing comparisons of Messier and Gretzky to him and what they've done in the past and what McDavid has not yet done. And Draisaitl is kind of just free to skate. And that's really all you want. And and the three of us know, you play your best hockey when you don't have that any kind of stress like that.
I mean, I know I'm the best player that we have, so I always feel the stress. But yeah,
it's always on Billy Dean's shoulders. Always
on my shoulders.
But hold on. But has Billy Dean ever played a perfect game?
I have.
I don't know about that.
I have played a perfect game. It's in lacrosse. I had a shut in lacrosse one time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Another sport we're talking about.
Yeah, another sport. Yeah, we're multi, not lingual,
we are multi,
but multi something.
Oh, I'm not multilingual. I know that.
Multifaceted podcast.
Multi-talented. Multi-talented is a stretch.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
You're saying talented is a stretch.
Yes.
Multi-personality. Maybe that's a little bit better.
That's more.
Vegas.
So Vegas wins. Vegas wins game 1, 6-4. And you saw Edmonton kind of look a little shaky on defense. Then they come back in game 2 and 5-1 victory. And like I said, we're at game 3 right now, tied 1-1 about 10 minutes into the first period. So, any other quick thoughts? I mean, McDavid, we talked. Shroom talked about it. He's got 6 straight games, multi-point playoff games. Draisaitl's amazing.
Draisaitl also has. I think he scored the first goal in every game for the last 5 games, well, except for this game now. But I think he was on a streak of 5 straight games scoring the opening goal.
Yeah,
he's a beast. He's ridiculous.
The goaltenders, we kind of knew that this would be a series that you see a lot of goals in. Brossoit did not look good last game, and
there's a lot of goals. There's a lot of goals across the playoffs.
Yes,
a lot of blowouts and a lot of high scoring games.
A lot of sub 900 save percentages right now.
Yeah, I saw a stat. There's only 3 guys above 9, which it was Anderson, it was Ottinger, and it was I think
he just got blown out. So that's probably dropping.
Schmidt hadn't really played enough games, but he was asterisks on there. Goaltending has not been good this playoffs. Outside of a few guys,
it's not. It's not like the goaltending in the past. The Brodeur Hasek 4 overtime duel.
Yeah,
Watt, like Felix Potvin, like holy crap, like those.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I can't see what does that stat say, Shrem? What does that stat say on the game?
Coaching. I looked at it too late.
It's a time on ice. Time on ice, I think it was. All right. So, anything else quickly on this Edmonton Oilers Vegas? You guys got anything?
I mean,
obviously,
just whoever scores more goals is going to win.
Connor McDavid leads all Oilers in ice time per game, which you would think that'd be a defenseman. Yeah, he is a beast. Evan Bouchard quietly with 11 assists. He's been really good. For those reading
he
that
came
power
on.
play. That power play is at like 60% now.
Is it still that high?
60?
I thought it was in like the high 40s or something.
No. They were at. I just saw a stat. It was like it was either low 60s or just at like 58, 59. I can't remember what I saw, but
either way,
they're ridiculous. And so they're getting secondary scoring, right? They're getting guys that contribute on defense.
Ooh,
Oilers are playing pretty well. They just need Skinner to really have a couple good games, and they could get by, outscoring some teams. But you are going to need those couple games where your goalie, stops 40 shots, and then you win 2-1. So we'll see how Oilers can do that.
Some of the best goalies in the playoffs are all out in round 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shesterkin, Vasilevsky. I mean,
Sorokin.
Yeah. Sorokin. Yeah.
Who looked not very good in the playoffs, by the way.
He did not.
Sorokin did not look good.
The real Islanders showed up for the playoffs. That's who they really are. They're not good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Obviously, Vasi had a bad series, but we don't typically. You don't.
He had a bad end. He had a bad end to the season, though. He wasn't playing very well.
The team was not playing well at the end of the season, and then Toronto shows up and just throws anything on net from the point, and it hits off of 9 people and goes in. Like all their friggin' goals were deflections.
Let's get to leaders. So Leafs Panthers up 3-0.
I love it.
Series.
I love it.
The first
Avenge
game,
me,
4-2.
please.
Avenge me. All really close games. 4-2 game 1, 3-2 game 2, and then 3-2 in overtime. Sam Bennett gets the. Sam Bennett. Reinhart gets the game winner. Wall comes on for an injured Samsonov. Samsonov could actually return for game 4, but I heard Matt Murray might come back.
They said he was available potentially for the last game, but I don't know.
I'm gonna throw Matt Murray into that type of situation.
No, you'd have to start Wall. You have to start Wall.
I hope Toronto is Toronto and just throws Matt Murray in there and he gets lit up and they go home. That would be a dream come true.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be pretty good. Wall did play good in the overtime loss. Obviously, the Reinhart goal.
No, I wouldn't pin anything on him.
Play. You had Samsonov after game 2 was asked about Bobrovsky's play on the other end. He goes, "I don't give a F." Very good quotes there. Tell me if you guys think I'm wrong, but does it feel like Toronto won the Stanley Cup after round 1? Like that their players have just
that's what I was saying. If they came out of round 1 and beat Tampa, I think it was going to be a big letdown in round 2 because there was so much pressure on them to just win a friggin' series, and they finally do it. And but people are saying the weight's off their shoulders now. They can actually play their game. But no, they're going to have a huge letdown because they're putting all their emphasis into just coming out of one series. And now, I mean, the game's been close. Don't get me wrong. The game's been good. Like some of those games Toronto could have won, but I'm glad they didn't. They haven't done enough. Especially, I don't know. Did you see the overtime winning goal last night? Yep. Very bad defensive play. Sam Reinhart goes into the zone with the puck. Nobody comes at him. He skates back out. He had all the time in the world. Skates back in. Goes through 2 players. Rims it around the boards, and the guy rims it right back to him behind the net. And whatever defenseman, I don't know who it was that was on him, wasn't anywhere near him. And he got the goalie looking the wrong way, and he came out around the other side and just tucked it in. It was, I don't know. Defensively, they haven't been good. It's like last series, and I know I'm a homer on Tampa, but they didn't play. Toronto did not play.
You.
Toronto did not play good in the last 3 of those 4 games, and I mean they still won, but some of those games they probably should not have won. And I don't know. They're here's McDavid. Ooh, big save.
Really good save.
And now Brossoit's hurt.
Oh no!
Uh-oh. This ain't good.
Is that off the mask? That looked like it was in the head.
He got hit, or he?
It looked like the shot
sliding
right
over
off his face. I think it was shot to the head.
I'm just hoping he didn't pull a groin or something, sliding over like that.
It didn't look like he would, because he hasn't grabbed his leg once. I didn't think it was, but I think he got nailed right in the face. That probably show a replay.
I hope they
he's going right to his head. He's not going anywhere near his legs. So, yeah, this is definitely a dome shot. That'll wake you up right
just
there.
Just threw his glove off.
Yeah, I will attest to that. It wakes you up, and it wakes you up quick.
Yeah,
here we go. Here's the replay.
That does suck.
No,
who's their back?
He doesn't get hit in the head at all. What the hell happened there?
Oh yeah, that's weird.
Just showed the replay.
Yeah, it didn't even hit the net.
Look, he just hobbles over right there. I wonder if it's his hip or.
He hasn't once.
So who's their backup?
Is it Aiden Hill?
Hill?
I mean, Hill's serviceable.
What the frick happened? Look at him. He's not putting weight down.
He's not put any weight on his left leg. Yeah, that's weird. He didn't held his leg once.
Look, yeah, he's holding his left leg up. Yeah, it's Aiden Hill.
It is Aiden Hill, yeah.
Oh, and boy. He's good. He's done well for them in the. But again, it's one of the most consistent goalies in this entire playoff season that we've had has been Grubauer, and who would have had money on Grubauer being? I was gonna say who would have had money on Grubauer being one of the most consistent goaltenders in the playoffs so far? No one.
Even no one. Bobrovsky, same thing. Would you pick those two as possibly the guys that win cups? Oh my god.
You know, and Ottinger could just potentially be tired because Ottinger's played well, but Grubauer is probably the most consistent goalie of the playoffs so far.
Yeah,
it's crazy now. Like nowadays, we see all these teams playing. I mean, not because they choose to, but there's injuries. There's guys getting pulled. Multiple goalies in a series all the time. Remember when we just used to watch games? It'd be this goalie versus this goalie, and that was it. You never saw like any kind of. It was like
Mike Vernon
Belfour versus
Vernon Waugh.
Mike Vernon. Yeah. It never changed. Now it's like all these teams. You're seeing multiple goalies. So one guy doesn't have one good game, he's yanked, and they go to the other guy. Like it's crazy.
So I had something from I was going to talk kind of about this with the Devils series, but one quick thing: Maple Leafs, their top 4 guys: Matthews, Marner, Tavares,
nothing, zeros,
Nylander. They had 34 points in the first round series. 34 points. They have 4 points total in the I don't remember the goals. I think they're all assists. I think you're right, Shorts guy. But
no goals. None of them have any goals.
Nothing. It's embarrassing. You need your big guys to step up, and it feels like some of them just went right home after that series.
I hope
a shame.
Florida sends them packing on Wednesday.
Yeah, I feel bad for Toronto fans.
I hope they had a good parade after the first round.
Well, Shorts guys, so a lot of people have made this point, and we'll go now to Devils, Carolina.
Let's do it.
And the way they played the first 2 games of the series, could you possibly say that it's a little bit of the same? That they beat the Rangers, and that was kind of, that's our cup. Not cup, but you know what I mean.
I called it. At the beginning of that series that whoever was going to win our series was going to have an emotional letdown in round 2. I called it.
Game 1, you could see that. Game 2 was another... and that was worse. I think game 2 was a worse loss than game 1.
So I actually expected whoever won our series to potentially lose against Carolina because of that emotional letdown. And I believe I'd said that before. I want to say part of it too, we play a very high-paced, pressure-filled brand of hockey, and that's exhausting. And we had it, but at the end of game 7 to the beginning of game 1 was 44 hours. And we're the only series, I believe we're the only second round series that's going every other day. All the other series have at least a 2-day gap. And this is because of scheduling. I know for us, it's scheduling at the Prudential Center because there was a UFC event there on Saturday. And there was like concert. There was all kinds of stuff at the Prudential Center.
Never expect to be playing playoff hockey at the Prudential Center.
No, well, but then again, you see you see the darlings of MSG because they're canceling. I think Janet Jackson got moved for the stupid Knicks.
Yep, she got bumped.
There's a basketball and a pop music reference. Speaking of bumping, there's Michu just chilling.
I love it.
But we play a very high-paced brand of hockey, and the Devils looked gassed in games 1 and 2 because they went right from New Jersey to Carolina after game 7, and they were in Carolina until they flew home immediately after game 2. So they finally got to be home in their bed for the first time in probably about 4 or 5 days. Which takes a toll on you. We've all traveled, and we all know it sucks to not be home in your own bed. But then again, the Devils came out kind of flat in games 1 and 2 against you guys, Dean, and we adjusted. And we adjusted for game 3 last night, which was phenomenal to be at and see.
Yeah,
I'm not.
All right, so let's get to the series quicker, then you can talk about the game. So 2-1, Carolina up in the series. They win the first 2 games, identical scores. They win game 1 5-1, game 2 6-1, and then game 3 8-4. No goaltending in this series from the Devils side first of all, but then on the Carolina side, to let 8 up, you had the goalies. Possibly Anderson starting next game. They're talking about Kochetkov, maybe Ranta. It's all over the place. The Devils, do they stay with Vanacek?
They gotta. He won them a game. They gotta stick with him.
I don't know.
I don't know. What's the face has the better numbers, obviously. Schmid, but
But it's only at home
He-
too.
He
Schmid
just
on the road
just won you a big
bad.
game. I think you got to go back to him.
Yeah. Yep.
My issue with the Devils right now, with the goaltending is I don't know who the hell they're going to start tomorrow. I know Vanacek was first on the ice today. We'll see what happens in the pregame skate tomorrow. Who's going to be in the starters net? We'll know that sometime tomorrow. What concerns me, but is also correctable in a sense, is 3 shorthanded goals in a row.
Yes, I was going to say that.
Two within the same damn power play, which was bothersome.
2 were breakaways. Yeah,
that's not good. Yeah.
I was at the game yesterday with Joey, and we were watching it, going like a 7-2 or a 7-3 game should feel like a comfortable, like we can kick our feet up and like we're gonna win, but like it ends up being 8-4. It ends up being 8-4, and it didn't feel like a comfortable win. Like it felt like anything could go in. But my key to the game on Game Day Live yesterday before going into the arena was having to make Anderson move and giving him the Devils did not get any good quality shots games 1 and 2. I mean, hell, we had one dump in on net for 1 shot on goal in the first period. So we had to test him, and we finally did test him, and some of our big guys finally started to score. Nico scored, Timo scored, Jack's popping in goals. It's Jack's throwing some fists. Like holy hell!
I saw that.
Jack.
First of all, that's bullshit. He got credit for a Gordiow hat trick when they gave him. There wasn't a fighting major. They gave him
a partial.
No, he got credit for that. I was like, that's not a Gordie Howe.
Has Laugh lost a tooth and thrown down any fists? I don't think.
And
because he's not allowed to play. Because he's not allowed to play.
Devil's Twitter was very unhappy that Jack lost a tooth. They were like, "Oh, this perfect smile's gone."
Whatever. He can afford a new one.
Exactly.
Jack can afford a new tooth.
The Hughes brothers team up for 6 points to get in the 8-4 win. The Canes tie the record with 3 shorthanded goals. Brendan Moore's quote, "We were horrible," and that was the worst game they played at the playoffs.
And
you have 8 goals. I would say so.
The Devils are one of only 3 teams to ever let up 3 shorthanded goals in a game and still win.
Well, that's what I was going to say. When have you seen a team score 3 shorthanded goals and not win?
They're only the third. They're only the third team to.
It's crazy.
It might be. I think it's in the playoffs. Yeah, to allow 3 shorthanded goals and to still win the game. Like holy hell. It was a good game to be at. Just the Devils started their 4th line with Severson and Luke Hughes as your starting defensive pair. Like Luke Hughes, his first NHL playoff game, and he's starting. And I thought that was great. Not only for him, Jack plays differently when Luke is in the lineup. Jack has a bit of an extra step when Luke played in those 2 games at the end of the season.
So I know Graves is injured, right?
Yeah, he took a really hard shot in game 2.
Yeah, from Jesper Fost.
Weren't they talking about that's possibly what do you call it? Charging penalty that went uncalled?
Maybe. I think the people aren't happy. Who was Smith in for?
The Devils did
7, 11 and
7 and 11. They did 7 and 11. Okay. And that was probably because they had Luke in. Lazar sat. Lazar and Boquist were out. Yeah, Lazar and Boquist, I believe, were out late.
And I know you're not going to give me a fair assessment on this one, but Tomas Tatar, the high stick on Aho.
Oh yeah, no, I'll give you a fair assessment. That was dangerous, and I know he got a $5,000 penalty today.
That's such bullshit, and it's not because he's a devil. He swung his stick and connected in the head. Like that's a weapon, and it doesn't matter if he was a Ranger. I'd say the same thing because it was blatant. Yeah. Like he wanted to hit him with his stick. It was blatant, and the fact the NHL just allows that to be a fine is just But once again, the NHL just shits the bed.
The player safety department is just it's
a joke. It's a fucking joke.
It's a joke, and it's they're inconsistent, and that's really the big problem is they're inconsistent. They're the only thing they're consistent on is being inconsistent.
Yeah,
they're consistently inconsistent, and it seems like things just change. Like I don't know. Like that there should have been something for Trouba with the Timo Meier hit because it knocked him out, and the principal point of contact was the face. Like,
yeah, unfortunately with that one, no, I agree.
He hits I know he bent down. Like I know he kind of lowered his head or whatever.
So that's the thing,
it's
right?
Like, would I'm curious if Trouba would have got something if the Rangers would have won that game going into round 2.
I don't think they would. So the reason why I said it, by the letter of the rules, and this is just on how they rule it, right? He doesn't initiate contact with his elbow. He doesn't raise his shoulder. He doesn't jump into him. He clearly goes and just right into his face.
Kind of leads in a little bit with the elbow if you watch
that
play.
It was like right here.
I thought
it
was just all about being
like the bicep.
The first point of contact was his friggin' head. I thought that was.
It's only
so you're allowed to hit a guy in the head no matter what. Then
well, the point of contact with the head is that it has to.
I'm gonna hit you in the head next time, Shrim.
Yeah,
I didn't do it.
It can't be like a follow through or a target. Unfortunately, on that one, and the way that it's a bad hit, and it's something that the NHL has to make amends to the rules for this, because clearly that's the first thing, and unfortunately that's also the only thing he could have hit. Because if you see Trouba, he always goes square into the body, right? He doesn't go after legs. He's not hip checking guys, but the only thing he could have done was do a hip check, and if he instead takes out his legs, I think a player might be more unhappy about taking out the legs than him going buffaloing them right in the head. And it looks like, when they did the line, there was they talked, and it didn't seem they seemed to be even smiling and whatever about it. But I agree, it was not. It's not a good look. It was not a good look, and he hits him square in the head, and I agree. But that's something the NHL needs to change, because there's no other way he could have hit him in that scenario other than taking his legs out. Then not hit him. And just not hit him.
They have to they have to look at that, and they have to look at their rule about as far as defensive plays on a breakaway, where if you get the puck first, but your follow through is going to take out a guy, like, should that really be a penalty shot if you got the puck first?
Yeah.
That was I forget who got that one. I know Mercer was the defensive player. I forget who had the penalty shot.
Yeah, it was game 1, right? Or game 2?
Was it Kane? Was that Kane that had the penalty shot? I forget who it was. Or was it the Kane series? I forget what it was.
It was the Canes. It was one of the first or second game. I can't remember.
Didn't Martinook have a
Martinook? Yeah,
that was
Martinook. Sorry,
yep.
Everything. I'm going to be honest. The last 2.5 weeks have been such a blur because I've been down to Newark for more games, and I tried to count it. I think I've podcasted. It's easier to count on one and a half hands how many nights I haven't been on a podcast since April 16th, including 3 yesterday. It's like, holy crap, man. So things are starting to blend together. So bear with me if I can't remember when the hell a certain play was. But I know Dawson Mercer made the defensive play, got the puck clear as day beforehand, but because of the follow through from that angle, takes the player out. That shouldn't be an automatic penalty shot. If you get the puck first, if you got to go to review and replay to look at it, be like, yeah, you got the puck first, no penalty shot, that's fine. But when you get the puck first,
unfortunately, it's at the ref's discretion now. I think they changed that to where even if he does get the puck first, if the ref feels like he should be awarded a penalty shot, he can give him a penalty shot, which is kind of stupid, because the ref can just be like, on a play like that where he can award a penalty shot, or if it's the other way around, he can not award a penalty shot. It's just like, I don't know. They need something that's more, I think, like clear cut.
Consistent. Yeah.
There's a goal. Another terrible goal.
Yep.
Another Tampa player,
Jam.
former Tampa player goal.
Number 2.
Terrible.
Well, he just scored. It's number 2 in the game. Matt Junio cannot believe Gallant got fired. I absolutely can. He stinks. And then also he said, what's our opinion?
It was either going to be this year or next year, so we knew he was going down.
Exactly. And then what's our opinion on the draft lottery? NHL's a sham.
Terrible.
Chicago bullshit.
And Shrimp called it. Terrible.
All right, you guys got anything else before we head out?
Nah. Oh, wow. That's actually a really great play by him.
No, just
it went off someone's
leg. I think he dives for it and gets it. No? He doesn't get it right there?
Can't tell if it was off of Nurse. That's weird.
They show one replay. I hate ESPN. Get out of here. They show one terrible replay, and that's it.
One terrible replay.
Damn it, let me talk.
Sorry, guy.
I am just hoping for a Devils victory tomorrow to bring us 2-2 in the series, bring us back home to clinch it
fat L.
next this coming Saturday.
Listen, I think I might be the only true Devils fan. I said they were going to sweep. I said the Devils would sweep because they couldn't win in 3, so I had to say 4.
I'm sensing a Pally game-winning goal tomorrow.
No.
With
Why
another.
do you have to be such a jerk? He won one series. He did well. Why can't you then be on my side for one of these goddamn series? Such a jerk.
Is Andre Palat on your team?
I rooted for you guys for 2 straight playoffs. 2 straight playoffs. I said I wanted you to win cups. God
yeah,
damn,
right.
Schwim,
You called our cups a friggin' asterisk.
Oh, I said that as a joke. I mean, they are an
yeah,
asterisk.
right.
No, you did. That was a joke.
You meant it, and you hurt my feelings, and I cried every night.
Matt Banky, Canes are not going to collapse like the Rangers. Yeah, Rangers did collapse. 2 really bad series.
And before I freeze again, happy birthday to Matt Banky. Big fan of the podcast. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday to Matt Banky.
He is a Ranger fan, and he's still got a happy birthday. Yeah. So happy birthday, Matt.
I've got this.
There we go. Evander Kane just, for whatever reason, just went at Pietrangelo when the period was over.
They're going at it.
I've got this habit of collecting Ranger fan defensemen that play really well in front of me. Billy Dean, you and Matt Banky are
really well.
You're good with that.
Draisaitl getting some business right now from someone. Kaner.
That's cool, sir.
Pietrangelo.
This is strange. The period was like over, and like the puck was going to the corner, I think, and you just saw Evander Kane come flying in and go right at Pietrangelo. That was weird.
Ekholm still such a great ad for
yeah, that was a good pickup for them.
So good.
They finally made a friggin' like halfway decent trade.
Yeah, that was the first good addition they made in quite a while.
You watching this?
Yeah,
keeps going right. Look how high he comes up. Yeah, and he comes up high with the stick. That should absolutely be a penalty.
Yeah, that should be a suspension. That's some
shady shit lately.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
The last game, he was friggin' grabbing the guy and just punching him in the ribs.
Yeah, in his ribs. Yeah, that was Kolsar again. Yeah. All right.
Hey, anyone out there listening, come out to American Whiskey tomorrow. Sam and I will be there for pregame, drinking beers out in Edison Place. Come on out and hang out, watch the game with us at the bar too. So
we'll see what Dean can do. I got a little girl to watch though, but we'll see.
I am empty.
Kentucky Sunrise pivot, solid 4 and a 4.25. Such a Squall, Schwimmer.
You know it, 4.0. Let's do this.
4.0. Love it.
Yeah, I forget what I give 1883, 4 and 4.25. I don't know. I love it.
Go and see Sam and Shorts Guy. Great show. Even though the Devils fans, it'll be fun. Get some beers. Enjoy yourself. Schwimmer, take her home.
Right there. That's all I'm saying.